Good morning, or is it good afternoon? Oh, I guess it's good afternoon, Real Progressives. So this is Steve, and something interesting happened this morning. Rand Paul went out there on the public airwaves and ran about telling everybody how we can't afford health care. Talking about inflation, talking about being able to actually afford health care. Rand Paul, okay? And for those of you who follow Real Progressives, you understand that affordability is never the issue. You know that. Inherently, you know that. And yet, here we are. We've got the ACA getting ready to possibly be repealed. And you've got a situation where the Democratic Party has made a decision that it's not going to champion single-payer health care. It's not going to champion single-payer health care. So what is it that Real Progressives and folks that are fighting for citizens' benefits can do? Well, they're taken to the air to talk about the affordability of health care. What are you doing? They're taken to the air to talk about the affordability of all these programs. And what are our people doing? What are these people in power doing? What are the Justice Dems doing? What are the Justice Democrats doing? Are they out there talking about how we can absolutely afford it? Or are they talking about how people have to pay their fair share? Are they out there talking about how the environment right now can be fixed? Or are they out there talking about people have to pay their fair share? We are going to get screwed out of having single-payer health care because of all these well-meaning people. Rand Paul has got enough of the ears in the so-called progressive movement. Sadly, the progressive movement has been co-opted by economic illiterati within the Rand Paul libertarian, LOL-libertarian movement. People don't understand that they are 100% in juxtaposition to one another. They are not on the same team. They're not. You cannot be a progressive and be a fiscal conservative because you cannot actually do a single thing that we want to do as a fiscal conservative. Not one of them can be done with the LOL libertarian model. Not a single one of them can be done. Not one. And I'm sorry that we can't get this through to enough people so that our kids don't suffer. But where we're at right now is a very unfortunate situation. We've got a whole group of people that demand and swear that single payer is a very, very important thing, that they want it very badly. But they literally don't have any clue how to make it happen. And they'll march in place, arms pumping, and they will get absolutely nowhere. They're more willing to chase the Rothschilds. They're more willing to do massive amounts of research on the Jewish family, the Rothschilds, than they are willing to do research on how to make single-payer health care happen. And right here, right now, it's in front of us yet again. Obama took single-payer completely out of the mix, said, no, that doesn't match with my neoliberal friends. And the Democratic Party has said it's too contentious for us to fight for single-payer health care. Bernie Sanders went out and said in November, his advisor went out and said, Bernie won't be putting Medicare for all out there because it's too contentious within the Democratic Party. What do you mean too contentious? Why is this in any way, shape, or form too contentious? Because people don't understand how achievable it is. People don't understand. Look, from a technology perspective, just from a technology perspective, The systems for Medicare for all are already in place today, right here, right now. You change a little teeny bit, the slightest bit of coding, and you make, instead of the eligibility age from whatever age it is, you change that to 0 for the start point. As soon as you're born, day one, you have Medicare for all till infinity. You live forever, I don't care. But you have Medicare for all with that quick, that slightest change of code. That's how inexpensive the fix would be to bring about single-payer healthcare. That's how complicated it would be right there. And yet we don't have the spine, we don't have the willpower, we don't have the knowledge to tell the Rand Pauls of the world, yes, we can afford this. People will get wrapped around the axle trying to find a way to tax their way to heaven. And it's not going to work. The Republicans are united in screwing us here. The Democrats are almost equally united in screwing us here. They want to protect Obama's legacy. They want to sit there and say deficits and debt and shit like that. They're really, really hawkish on trying to government spending. I don't know what to tell y'all other than to say, if this is important, if it's important to you, then you need to actually take action. And you need to stop making excuses for piss poor behavior. You need to stop making excuses for lies. You need to stop making excuses for why people are making political choices. You need to stop making excuses for people that worry more about inflation than they do about lives. You need to be able to confront them and try and educate them. And if they don't learn, recognize that they are not your helper here. We have got to get people in places where they understand, people in power that understand that our nation cannot go broke. And we need to get people in power that actually understand that Medicare for all is not just something we'd like to have. It's something we must have. I am so disgusted with watching anyone prop up Rand Paul in the progressive movement. I am so disgusted with people who are literally tying the LOL libertarians of the world to the progressive movement. I am so disgusted with people that don't understand that our economic system as it stands today doesn't need to be thrown out, doesn't need to be destroyed. We have it today. We just need to flip it around for the freaking 99%. It doesn't require that we dismantle our entire economic system. What it matters is people are dying today. And I don't have 100 years for you to get your pet ideas out there. This is in place today. We could do it today. And if you don't understand this, this is where we as a group, we as a movement fail. We fail because we are economically illiterate. We are more mesmerized by the Alex Jones deep state nonsense than we are educating our people, educating our countrymen, fellow countrymen and women on what it is to demand so that we can get people off their couch and feel hope again. When you see people don't feel hope, they go back into isolation, they go back into the matrix, and they stop fighting for change. And the only way to fix that, is education. That you can't do that by chasing boogeymen. You can't do that by running around flapping gums about, we got to dismantle capitalism. We got to do this Star Trek thing. Folks, have all the ideas you want, but right now we have the power today to get single payer. We have that power today. There is nothing that needs change in the system to get every last one of us free medical and dental and optical care for the rest of our lives. You don't have to be an economist to even understand this. You don't have to be a guru of all things debt instruments and knowing how every ticky-tack thing happens at the Federal Reserve. You don't need to know every detail of that to understand that our country is the creator of its own dollar and it therefore cannot go broke. And that it therefore can afford this now. And they are willing to let people die. And the people that say, what about inflation? You're willing to let people die too for your fetish about inflation. What does that say about you as a person? What does it even say about you as a person that your first concern is inflation and not people? Now, I can tell you right now, I can destroy your argument about inflation like that. I can destroy your silly gold bug standard stuff about what about devaluing the currency? What about devaluing ending lives? Just spitballing. What about that? Why don't I hear you talk about that? Why do I always hear you say, but what about inflation? But what about inflation? But inflation. But hyperinflation? Why do I hear you say that? But I don't hear you say, what about all the people dying? Why don't I hear you say that? What does that say about you as a person? Seriously, what does it say about your priorities? What does it say about you for what you prioritize in your life, in our lives, and as our country? But inflation. Ellis talked about it last week. Joe Firestone talked about it last night. Folks, we don't print money to pay for things. We keystroke things into existence. We don't have to go chasing some country to steal gold. We don't need it. We have the full faith and credit of the United States. In other words, we tax in our own currency. So that's what drives its value. That's why it has value. Not because, what about a real solid currency, man, that we dug up from the ground, dude? Like my neckbeard's itching. My neckbeard itches and I want gold. Give me my 20-sided die so I can play some gold standard Dungeons and Dragons. There's a plus 10 sword of stupid over there. And I want my bag of gold from the elf thief in the catacombs. This is a crisis today for the environment. It's a healthcare crisis today. People that have healthcare can't afford to use it. The Republicans are not wrong in wanting to get rid of the ACA. The problem is their solution is disgusting. We can shoulda, woulda, coulda till the cows come home. I'm telling you what we can do today. We should do. We can do these things today. This is why I'm apoplectic. This is why. Donald, dude, I got my old D&D shit in the garage, man. I still got the all the Gary Gygax stuff, so I get it, man. That's why I'm talking shit. I even have my Warhammer 40,000 stuff. Double plus good, brother. So when I see somebody who sits there and mouths off about inflation, when I see somebody who doesn't understand lives, I would go up a point of inflation, which is not going to happen. We'll go up a point of inflation or somebody dies. Fuck them. Let them die. Let them die. Who cares? Right? Isn't that it? Because inflation. But what about my gold? You know, it was $28 an ounce back in blah, 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 whatever, right? But if I have this much gold, that's a real currency. Stop the madness. If you want people to live, stop chasing the boogeyman. If you just have a deep-seated desire to chase boogeyman, You're not any use to our country at all. You're literally a blocker to progress. You're not any use to your own children. Your own children are going to get screwed while you chase the boogeyman. Put that in your pipe and smoke it while you're rolling your plus 20 die. Okay? Your kids need us to be smarter than our parents were. Our parents who ushered in the neoliberal age. It requires you and I to break free from defending the freaking orthodoxy of the day and demand it. But you can't get there worrying about, but what about inflation? Somebody once told me that blah, blah, blah. Somebody once told me at the gas station, at the bar, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Rothschild, exactly. I love it. That is perfect. I'm gonna snatch that one. That is perfect. When you think about what it is you're up against, and all you focus on is how do we get to the butler or the Rothschilds so that we can poison him, or maybe put some baby oil in the shower when he steps into the shower, slips and falls and dies, whatever. I don't know what it is in your head that you think you're doing. And what are you going to do? Like cut the brake line on his Maybach? What are you going to do? Are you going to put some cyanide in his shampoo as he washes his hair and it's like it goes through the skin like James Bond era stuff? I mean, for real, what are you going to do? Wake up. Grow up, Peter Pan, Count Chocula. What are you going to do? We need single payer today. I mean, for real. And it's right here. The fight is happening right now. And the Democrats are abdicating their responsibility. They are useless as a soggy piece of wet toilet paper. Used toilet paper at that. They are abdicating their role. They are completely abdicating their role in this process. There's nothing lesser evil about them. They are part of the problem. So you got two people lying. One lie feels a little bit better to swallow than the other, but they're both lies. Real progressives is going for truth. Folks, we're going for the true north of truth. We want to be the compass. When you look down and you see where the needle buries to north, true north, that's what we want to be about the progressive movement. If you sit there and you peddle bullshit, we got to slam it down. We got to take it out, man. Just kill that son of a bitch. We got to take out these lies and these myths. We've got to debunk them. Then we've got to crush them. Then we've got to convert those who are still peddling lies and nonsense. And unfortunately, people literally are more steeped in stupid shit about gold standard, more steeped in chasing the Rothschilds, more steeped in chasing Soros. What are you going to do with Soros? Not a great guy. What are you going to do with him? Are you going to sit there and snip the tendon behind his knee so he slips and falls on ice and maybe busts his head like Atkins did? What are you doing? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yay, we're angry at Soros. Okay, where's my single payer? The Rothschilds got to go down. If you're a friend of the Rothschilds, where's my single payer? Fuck that noise. Bzzz, noise. Where's my single payer? Where is my single payer? I don't want to hear about your Rothschilds. I don't want to hear about your Soros. I don't want to hear about that. I want to know, where is single payer? And if you don't understand economics, you're going to be caught off guard when Rand Paul says we can't afford it. And when they come through and they say, well, why in the world should the federal government be able to spend more than I can? When I don't have the money in my bank account, I can't spend it. Well, you know what, Peter Pan? Guess what? The federal government creates its own currency. It's our bank. It's our national treasure. All your conspiracy bullshit aside, it's our nation's national fucking treasure. And it's how we get shit done. And you, when you talk about inflation, and you, when you talk about the Rothschilds, and you, when you talk about Soros, and you, when you go into all this bullshit noise, you are preventing a massive civil unrest that could literally bring about single-payer health care. You are distracting from getting shit done. You are distracting from getting the environment fixed today, not in 50 years when our kids are inheriting a freaking cesspool of disgust. If you want this stuff, stop getting sidetracked with bullshit. Stop chasing the boogeyman. Because you kill one boogeyman, guess what? Another one's going to rise up. You can't kill the rich. There's always going to be somebody that's rich. You can chase one, then you got to chase the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. There's always going to be somebody trying to rule the world. What we can focus on is creating massive understanding amongst the American people that we can afford anything. If they don't understand this, they will accept horrible, stupid, idiotic things from the Democratic Party. You know one person? God love her. She was a sweet person. She's a friend. She always shares our stuff. But I said something the other night about the Democratic Party and Sam Ronan. I like Sam Ronan. I don't like the Dem Enter strategy. And the reason I don't like the Dem Enter strategy is not because I hate people, it's because I hate the strategy. And the reason why I don't like the strategy is because Sam was prevented from partnering up with yet another real progressive in Kenneth Mejia out in LA. Why is that? Because the optics of not playing within the party. If people could be their own person, if they could stand up to the establishment and mean it without it having cataclysmic effects on their ability to get elected, then maybe I would be okay with a Dem Enter strategy. Maybe I would be okay with something like that. But when I see you can't partner with people that are other parties that have the same or better sensibilities because of party first, that's the same as vote blue no matter who. That's the same shit that got us right here where we are today. And that's why I refuse to get upset about Donald Trump. Not because he doesn't have plenty to hate him for, but because he's just as evil as Madame Pantsuit was. Just as evil. And she knew the levers of government. Hillary knew the levers of government. And if you think Trump is bad and is bloviating, thank God he's not as competent as she would have been. She would have literally driven us into a fucking cliff. This is not about anything other than know your enemy and know what you're fighting for. And if you're more worried about the deep state and you're more worried about Rothschilds and you're more worried about all these other bullshit things, you're not focused on saving my kids and saving our planet and getting people's lives back in order. And that, my friends, is why I can't go there. That, my friends, is why I stay on the economic message. The economic message is what will save us and unite us and will bring us to single-payer healthcare. It will bring us to the green energy solutions that we desperately need. Think about this. How many of us are against fixing the environment? None? Oh, so we all agree that we want to fix the environment, right? Well, how are you going to do it, Sambo? How are you going to do it, Billy Bob? How are you going to do it, Josie? How are you going to do it, Michael? How are you going to do it, everybody? You got to know economics. We already agree we want to fix it. We already agree we don't like fracking. We already agree we want to stop pipelines. We already agree. So what's the point? If you don't know how to make it happen, what's the fucking point? Well, we're just going to divest from the banks. We're going to do this. Now, don't get me wrong. Cool. Great. Take action. But you've got to understand that if people don't understand, they will accept garbage representation because they feel like it's all they deserve. Because they don't know the truth. They're still locked into this world of tax and spend. They don't understand that taxes are very necessary, but do a very different thing than pay for things. They don't know that paying for things is a very different thing than actually taxing. And because they're trapped in idiocy, they're trapped in ignorance, we are literally trapped from getting single-payer health care. It's that simple. We already agree. You talk to every single one of these vote blues, and there might be a handful of knuckleheads in there that absolutely just don't like single-payer health care. The vast majority of these knuckleheads is worried about defending Obama's legacy. How worthless. But most of them really do want single-payer health care. They just have no idea how to make it happen. And so I hear people say, well, you can't have money for nothing. You sure as fuck can. Yeah, you can. Don't let your idiocy be the death of my kids. Don't let your moronicness kill my children. Don't let your illiterati hurt my kids. And more importantly, don't let your ignorance hurt your own children. Your ignorance is killing your own kids. This is not a joke. There's no smile here. I'm not even being sarcastic. I'm telling you straight. Your ignorance is killing your own children. Your fear of inflation is literally killing your kids. Your gold bug fetishizing is literally murdering people. Your chasing of the Rothschilds is literally killing people. Killing them dead cold. Every single delay that we have because of ignorance creates more death. More people die, more people suffer, more people commit suicide because they don't see hope. Because you're sitting there too worried about inflation, the gold standard, the fucking Rothschilds. How many people have to die while you chase your boogeyman? How many people have to die? How many wars for oil do we have to fight when we could have green energy yesterday? These are questions that go through my head every single day. Round the clock, morning till dusk, I think about how many people does ignorance kill? And if you're not realizing that I'm drop dead serious, like I'm talking about, like I look at my family and I say, if you don't get this, you're helping kill our children too. I don't just reserve it for the audience here. I take it to the streets in my own home. If you don't understand, wife of mine, girlfriend of mine, family of mine, mother of mine, grandmother of mine, in-laws of mine, cousins, whatever, BFFs, if you don't understand this, you are killing people. You think I'm fucking with you? I assure you, I'm not fucking with you. It's serious 24/7. It's that serious, folks. This is not about eternity. This is not about paying for your sins. This is not about going to the Lord Jesus Christ. This is not going to Hindu gods and Muslim gods and everything else. This is talking about here and now, hell on earth, because we are trapped in a lie about economics. That's no joke. So for people, with all due respect to people, for people that don't understand this stuff, we were all there at one time. But time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. It's right now. You don't have 30 years to get your head wrapped around this. The fight is happening now. That's why 7 days a week I come out here and tell you guys, you've got to learn this stuff so we can fight. Each one, teach one. If you've never felt the urgency that I feel, then you probably are kind of wondering what the hell I keep going on about, aren't you? Our country cannot go broke. Our country has enough resources at any given time to implement the entirety of the Green New Deal right now. Right now. A federal job guarantee would give everybody, it would eradicate involuntary unemployment forever. It would provide a living wage, not a minimum wage, a living wage. Now. But you guys keep nibbling around the edges. You guys keep going for incrementalism. You guys keep claiming you hate neoliberalism, claiming you don't want the bullshit that Hillary sold, but yet you still champion the bullshit that Hillary sold by a nickel more. What is the difference between $11.50 and $15 an hour? What, like $3.50 an hour? Great. But that's not the kind, that's like the water's up here, I'm drowning. I'm super drowning. I'm not able to breathe. I'm going to die. So let's go ahead and make it $15 an hour. Well, that's great. I can see over the water line now, but I can't get my nose above it. I'm still dead. I'm still dead. Bravo. I'm still dead. But we did something. We fought the good fight. We fought the really special good fight. Don't be condescending, Steve. I'm not in this for your bumper stickers. I'm in this to drop the water line down to where people can breathe. If you're in this just to have these bullshit symbolic victories, well, we lowered the water down to here. Yay, team. Woo, 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 woo. If you're not into lowering the water down here where people can actually breathe again, you're not doing shit. You're breaking your arm, patting yourself on the back for a big nothing burger. A ginormous nothing burger. You want to actually get shit done. You learn this shit. And you teach people. And you get that sense of urgency. And you stop letting people divert shit. You stop letting people suck you in to political bullshit. These political games. Who cares about current events? Stop yelling at us. You just go away then. If you don't like it, go away. For real. I'm not joking. I have a reason for this. If you don't like what I'm saying, go watch somebody else that's yelling. Or not yelling. Stop yelling at us. No. No, I won't. People are dying. If that bothers you, go away. Go away. I'm not asking you for your permission. If you don't like it, go away. My children deserve better than people sitting there saying, vote blue no matter who. My children deserve better than, watch your tone, stop yelling at me. My children deserve better than you not knowing any better and voting poorly. My children deserve better than that. Yours do too. They probably deserve a better parent, quite frankly. They probably deserve a better parent if you're not angry about this. I don't like your tone, but people are dying. Exactly. Stop yelling at us. No. People are sleepwalking. People are chasing the Rothschilds. People are worried about nonsense. They're not fighting. Right now, we've got the Republicans repealing the ACA. We've got to fight for single payer now. It's not tomorrow. It's not in 6 months. It's not in 10 years. It's now. And if you don't get this, if you're not raging, you're not paying attention. If you're not raging, you're not paying attention. You know what? I've got an ascending aortic aneurysm. I don't know if you know what that is. But an ascending aortic aneurysm is basically a bulge in my aorta. It's a weak spot. I'm probably going to need a stent, something like that. It's not outrageous. It's not totally blown out or anything like that. But it is dangerous. It's something that could kill me. And so, in having to get all the tests and stuff done, it costs a lot of money even with health insurance. Money I don't have. You know what I'm saying? It costs money that I don't have. So I have a choice. I can either worry about your inflation fears and die, or I can tell you guys how important it is that we stop following after the Rothschilds and that we stop talking about bullshit that has been debunked. And we start teaching people. If you don't like my tone, say it in a happy way. Say it in a way that makes you feel good. But we need people angry. Stop yelling at people. Imagine at a Black Lives rally, and you sitting there watching the guy really angry about people dying, and some asshole conservative steps up. Stop yelling at us. Stop yelling at us. You get more flies with honey. You get more flies with honey, baby. Mind your manners. Stop grabbing the microphone away. Stop taking over the rallies. Stop fighting for lives. You're offending me. It bothers me. Sorry. Not going to moderate. I'm not going to change, folks. I care. And I swear to God, I will go to every live stream and I will look around and I'll find any one of them, just one, looking for one that talks about economics, folks. Just one. They can yell and scream about the Rothschilds. They can yell and scream about this. They can yell and scream about that. But they will not talk about economics. Why? Because they don't know and they don't care. They don't know and they don't care. When this is ground zero of how we get there, every single time, how are you going to pay for it? Every single time, we can't afford it. Every single time we get blocked by these same exact redo. Every single fucking time. And people die every single time we don't have an answer for the hope that lies within. Every single time. And it's not just happening in America. It's happening around the world. We're exporting this bullshit to Australia. We're exporting this bullshit to England. We're exporting this bullshit to every country around the world. Canada, everywhere that has a great public infrastructure, is in the process of letting American exceptionalism get their freaking best things, the best things about them, and destroying them. All in the name of privatization. Folks, you need to learn this, and you need to learn it now. You need to learn this, and you need to learn it now. You don't need to be an economist. You don't need to be a guru. You just need to give a shit. You just need to care. And when you say you're against neoliberals, God damn it, learn what the word means. Learn what the word means. If you don't know what the word neoliberal means, how in the hell are you going to fight it? How are you going to fight it? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to fight it? You know, when you look at someone like a Tulsi Gabbard, when you look at someone like I don't know, any of these people you would seem to prop up for the future. When you look at any of these people, how do you know that they're going to fight? How do you know they're going to fight for these things? If they don't understand economics, what are they going to push for? And all these newcomers into Congress, all these newcomers into the Senate, how in the world are you going to teach them and demand better if you're still stuck in this lie that federal taxes fund federal spending. You don't understand why that's so damn important. Because you set yourself up with a two-pronged attack with Republicans. Do me a favor, look it up. Go Google. I can do let me Google that for you a moment. But when you go to Google and you look up Grover Norquist and the no tax pledge, take a look at that. Now remember, they've got the vast majority of state houses. They've got the vast majority of lower level seats around the country. Under Obama, almost 1,000 seats at all levels of government were lost. I would say that it's over 1,000 now. The last time it was fact checked, it was like 900. 900 plus seats were lost under the Obama administration. We lost, when I say we lost, it's kind of like a misnomer anyway, because the Democrats are really no better. But the fact is the GOP is who we thought they were. And they want to privatize, and they want to balance the budget, and they want to get rid of all social safety nets, folks. There will be no tomorrow for any of this stuff if they pass it as a constitutional amendment. And sadly, many of our quote-unquote progressive people, progressive representatives, progressive candidates, are illiterate when it comes to economics. Illiterate. I fought with this guy from Delaware the other day. I don't know if he was a senator. I don't know if he was a friggin' congressman. Doesn't matter. I fought with this guy. And he didn't have any interest in talking economics because he didn't know his ass from his elbow. He was an utter buffoon. And so when you look at this and you're trying to pass legislation, if you're willing to let people die, then you're a worthless turd. You're a worthless turd if you're willing to let people die over your zeal for taxes and stuff like that. If you don't understand, the goal here is to educate people, but the urgency is more real than you'll ever know. The urgency is here and now. The fight is right there in our own lives, not some future life, right now. So, you do what you want, but don't you dare tell me you're for single payer if you don't really understand how to make it happen. You've got to take the time to care. This isn't one of those ones you can just pretend. You've got to actually dig in. Because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen without understanding it. So with that, I'm Steve Grumbine. We're going to meet tonight with Ellis Winningham at 8 p.m. tonight. We're going to have a really good talk again. Please, if you didn't see last week's show or last night's show with Joe Firestone, we talk about inflation in depth. We debunk every single worthless lie about devaluing money. We debunk and destroy every single one of them. Like, there's no more lies to be told that haven't been destroyed and debunked. So watch the video. Learn. Between Joe and Ellis, we have eradicated any lies about inflation that are left to be told. But yet armchair economists will run their mouths. So it's up to us to debunk them. Anyway, I'll see you all tonight at 8 o'clock. Have a great one.